This week on Let's Talk Schools, transitioning from middle school to high school comes with its challenges. We'll talk to a student and a school counselor who have some great advice and tips on how to make transitioning as smooth as possible. Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Schools. I'm Dr. Mike Looney, the Superintendent of Schools in Fulton and the host of this show. Thank you so much for joining us. Today we're going to be talking about the transition year from middle school to high school. And we have a young lady here that's experienced that here in Fulton, and so we're going to have her talk about that. You just started the 10th grade this year, and so last year you were in 9th grade, and that was your first year in high school. Tell us your name, where you go to school, and we're going to dig into what your experience was like.
Okay. Hi, my name is Nancy Guzman, and I go to Riverwood International Charter School.
And I understand you're in JROTC.
Yes, I am.
Awesome. And Jonathan, tell us about you and what you do and where you work and that sort of thing.
Yeah, so my name is Jonathan Altador. I am a school counselor at Riverwood International Charter School as well. So yeah.
Well, thank you both for joining us today. Yeah. So Nancy, I can't help but want to start with you. Okay. Last year you were a freshman.
Yes.
And their freshman year in high school is a big deal.
Yeah.
And so first of all, I want to ask you, did you buy any elevator passes?
No.
Okay, that's good to know. So tell us a little bit about your experience when you were a freshman in high school and what it was like to come from a middle school and transition into high school.
My experience overall was really good. And transitioning from middle school to high school, it was different, because middle school and high school they're different in a lot of ways. But overall, the experience was really well and it went well.
I'm glad to hear that. So is there something that you would recommend that our school district think about doing differently to help ease the transition? Or do you think it went just perfectly well and you wouldn't change anything?
I don't think I would change anything overall.
Okay. And did you go to middle school here in Fulton County Schools?
I did.
Okay. Do you think that your 8th grade teachers and your 8th grade administrator did a good job of letting you know, kind of peek behind the curtains so that when you entered 9th grade at Riverwood that you knew what to expect?
Yeah, in 8th grade they took us on a field trip to Riverwood so we know all the classes and what it looks like, the setup of it, and they also prepared us in advance for it.
That's good to know. All right, Jonathan, so you are the counselor at Riverwood, one of the counselors at Riverwood, and I'm assuming you're in charge of helping those students transition from 8th to 9th grade. What are the supports that we offer here in Fulton?
So we do a lot for our students coming into middle school to high school. We have our wonderful counseling team who provides academic support, career support, and even personal support if they have issues outside of the academic setting. We definitely provide help for that, and we do have other resources outside of us to give any additional help in that setting as well. So anything that the child needs within those 4 years in high school, we provide. So it doesn't matter what the issue is or what's going on, we're here for them and we're able to provide any kind of support that they need. And if we can't provide it, we have an outlet to give them that resource and help.
So the research tells us that 9th grade is the most challenging year for high school students. From a maturation standpoint, from going to a medium-sized school to a large school, what advice do you have for our viewing audience, whether it's parents or students watching the show? How do they prepare for that transition?
The biggest thing that I would say for parents and students is to, of course, be ready for the experience, because I know a lot of times they're so focused on life after high school sometimes, but I always tell them just be in the moment, so be a 9th grader. So what that means is get involved, right, in sports, academics, clubs, and also ask for help, right? That's why we are all here, whether we're staff or teachers or anybody in that building, we're here to support the students. So any kind of help that they need, advocate for yourself, right? Because that's going to be a big thing that they'll have to do in the real world. So we kind of try to teach that while they're in high school to advocate. Self-advocacy is what we preach. And just be in the present of where you are and think about your plans, but of course, navigate your plans and do things while you're in high school that's going to get you to where you want to get to after you graduate.
Now, Nancy, I know that you indicated to me that you're in JROTC. Did you participate in JROTC last year as a 9th grader?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And so what activities, what programs, classes, clubs did you transition from middle school into high school so you felt that connection?
In middle school, I did 1 year of SGA, and then it was really much only that. And then from there, I did JROTC in high school, which contains a lot of activities in the background. Like it has rifle team, drill team, color guard, and all sorts of stuff. And so I participated in multiple of those.
So when you entered Riverwood High School as a ninth grader, did your friend group go with you? Did you still feel the connection that you had at the middle school level? So you felt comfortable, you were around the same people?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did. A lot of my friends joined it. A lot of them didn't want to, but a lot of them did. So I was comfortable with it.
What advice would you give students as this is the beginning of the year, and so we have this year's ninth graders at Riverwood High School for the first time, in all of our high schools? What advice would you give a student that maybe is not quite as confident as you are, or has a little bit of trepidation or anxiety about being a freshman in high school?
The advice I could give to ninth graders is to have a good mindset, like have an open mind, because throughout high school things are going to change all 4 years of high school. And so be open to change, be open to new experiences, and like he said, to advocate for yourself, because there are times you're going to struggle and there's a lot of work, but if you advocate for yourself, it should go well. And don't procrastinate, because that's something I struggle with personally. But I think because there is a lot of work that comes with it and being a high schooler, but as long as you don't procrastinate and you advocate for yourself, it should be a good year for you.
You know, I'm glad that you talked about don't procrastinate. We
Yeah.
all are guilty of that from time to
Yeah.
time. I know I am. So, Jonathan, let me ask you a question. There is a difference in the workload from middle school to high school.
100%.
And high school teachers expect that students to be a little bit more independent and to be able to self-advocate. What advice would you give parents or even students watching this show about how to learn that skill of not procrastinating, to stay on top of your academics, and then to seek help when you need it?
So honestly, Mike, it starts from home, right? So parents are the first agent of socialization, which means all the norms, behaviors, and values come from home first, right?
Right.
So the parents have to be able to instill those things in our students prior to them coming to high school, so that when they get there, we're just helping them make that even stronger, right? So I think it starts from home. So they have to chores, make sure that they have deadlines on, washing the dishes or eating right, just having those responsibilities at home that shows those things, so that they're not procrastinating at home, so that when they come to school, they're not procrastinating there either. So it definitely starts from the house, for sure.
So Nancy, I want to ask you this question, because this is something it took me a long time to learn, and I know that you're much smarter than I was at your age. How do you stay organized? Do you use Outlook, calendar? How do you stay on top of what's due, when it's due, where you have to be? You're engaged in extracurricular activities. So how do you stay organized as a student at Riverwood?
So I used to not be as organized, but I've taken AVIDS in 7th grade, and so they taught me how to organize, and a big thing they taught us was writing the things down, and that's what I usually tend to do. And because of our block schedule, I put it into 2 different binders and what I need to turn in. So that's how I stay organized.
So do you think it's essential for students going to high school to have a plan on organization and to follow that plan?
Yeah, I do think.
And it's helped you be successful?
Yeah, it has.
Okay. All right. What are your plans after high school? I'm just curious. You're so poised and mature and articulate. What are your plans post high school?
After high school, my dream college is to attend Emory University and take ROTC there. And I want to study law to become a lawyer for either immigration or civil rights defense.
Good deal. So, Jonathan, let me ask you this. Is there something that we do at the high school level to help students with their organizational skills and to make sure that we alleviate that temptation to procrastinate?
Yes, we do. So our counseling department, we actually have small groups that we host every semester, and one of them is on organizational skills and kind of helping incoming freshmen and some sophomores who have that issue of not being organized, turning in late work, and not doing things as they should as they're transitioning. So yes, we do have those supports that we do have in place.
Good deal. I'm going to have you back on the show and talk about all the duties of a school counselor in 2024, because they are absolutely many, many, many. You wear many hats.
Yes, 100%.
Thank you so much for your work. Nancy, any final advice you want to give to our viewers about the transition year from middle school to high school?
I think that the biggest thing is to not worry, that to have an open mind, don't worry about what others think about you necessarily, and just focus on yourself, do your work, and it should be a good school year as long as you don't worry about others and worry about yourself.
Wow, that's really sound advice. I appreciate that. I could use some of that advice and apply it to myself sometimes. Jonathan, what about you? Any final advice that you have for our viewing audience?
Yeah, so one thing I want everyone to know about the school counselors in the building is that we're like a GPS, right? So you put in what you want to do for a student, if they want to go to college or if they want to go to the career route or the workforce route, they enter into the GPS and we guide them to those steps to get to that point after they graduate. So sometimes they'll make a U-turn and go the wrong way. They may turn left when they're supposed to turn right, but we're supposed to say, okay, redirect and go right. You went left, but go right. So we are the GPS to their students and what they do in high school and life after high school. So
yeah, I need to use the GPS function more often in my car when I'm going from school to school. I often get lost and have to do U-turns. That's really, really good advice, especially as our students navigate the high school experience. Thank you both so much for joining today. We appreciate your guidance and advice, and I know that you're going to have a successful sophomore year and continue to accelerate and make our district and your parents proud.
Thank you.
Thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining another Let's Talk Schools session. I look forward to seeing you again soon. And now, let's go around the district in 90 seconds. That's it for our show this week. Let's keep this conversation going. We'd love to hear from you on our social media platforms. Join us next time on Let's Talk Schools, and as always, thank you for watching.